Alrighty then. It's time for another Pokemon Stadium stream. How's it going, everyone? Hopefully all of you are doing well. I'm going to be running some more Pokemon Stadium. We're going to be doing round 2 shenanigans. We'll probably be doing some stadium events, maybe some gym leader castle. Let's see what we can knock out for tonight. This nice Sunday evening. Like I said, hope everyone is having a good one. So, further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Oh, what happened? Oh, here we go. Oh, I thought I was doing something. My audio from my headphones is not coming in through where it needs to come in. Attached to the wrong. Before I do that, go ahead and make sure that we add our. Yeah, it's coming in from my computers. That's not where I wanted to come in through. I don't think that's the correct one. There we go. It's a little better. Now I gotta find that cable. Here we go. Alrighty, now I can hear it from where it's supposed to come in through. Oop this here so I don't lose that cable later. Alright. Tag me in, never mind. Wind Scar. Is that an Inuyasha reference? Alright, we haven't done any of these yet. We got a level 25, we got a level. Let's do the What Up One official One Piece Slayer. We are here. We're getting ready to do some more stadium shenanigans. Probably gonna do some level 15 to 20s, and then maybe we can hop into the 25-30 category and see how that goes. Oh, none of my registered. See, I'm glad that I did it the way that I did it. And so I've got my nice little squad of level 15 Pokemon here that we can use. Oh. I can use Alakazam in this one, can I? Alakazam. Psychic Confusion Teleport. He did not yet learn Recover. I mean, not that I'll need it. Hopefully I won't need it. The Starmie is rare to go to. The first is fine. Got it. Alright, so I guess I will have the other. Oh, I got Flash! I wonder what I used him for. Got some Rhyhorns here. Really have any other Pokemon here that are really combat ready for any of this. Oh, maybe Haunter? No, Haunter. We're gonna stick to box 12. Where I put these guys at. Definitely put that Starmie in. I guess I'll take the Alakazam in. Is this the Ammonite that I got from Stadium? Oh, it doesn't say original trainer, but I'm gonna assume so. I don't think I get Ammonite at level 20. I think that's the one from Gym Leader Castle. Oh, this is before so I guess this is the squad, and we have oh, well, we don't really have any alternatives. So here's hoping that this team works. Bug Boy. A couple Pokemon that are not bug. Welcome, Perfect Pepper. I'm doing alright, trying to figure out what we're gonna do here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon that are weak to fire, so Charmander is definitely gonna be a good choice here. Yeah, and for some of the poison types, Charmander can dig on them. Definitely Charmander. He's about to beat up level 15s. You bet. Squirtle, no. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. It's definitely gonna be Charmander. And I guess Pikachu, maybe. Charmander, Starmie, and Bulbasaur. No, Bulbasaur's not really good for here. I'll go with Pikachu.
It's underway. Pokemon Tournament Pika Cup.
I like how Charmander does this little punchy animation.
Young, up and coming Pokemon. Fire Blast! No! This Pokemon looks wrong! What will the trainer do now? Boom!
A little annoyed that he lived by 3. Never mind.
That was quick! Down already!
You son of a tambourine. Listen, you didn't
This
chime
is a
in with the
wild one from
advice.
the word go.
Too long.
Oh, it's Cypher! How will the type difference affect that? They strike fighting poses.
Everything's gonna have double
There
edge.
it goes! Major damage!
I probably want to swap out here. I did you blind Zubat.
Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice. Down! That didn't take much.
I will look at chat more carefully.
There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's
Buttery.
The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided.
I want a chance Charmander getting
Here's a Pokemon.
rocked here.
Oh, it's Pikachu!
Hyper Beam.
Savage attack! Severe hit! Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle? Right! Thunderbolt! Perfect game! It can't make a move. Neither one is conceding an inch. How's that? It's doubly effective. Oh! Is it down and out? And there goes the battle!
There goes the battle. Gotta love giant sentient peppers. Man, this is quite the mix. The army can deal with a lot of them. Army. I might actually have to restart this. I just realized I picked Abra instead of Alakazam. I have an Alakazam that would have higher stats. Be much better for me to use. Alright, let me do that now before I get too far in. This should have been the team. I probably would have been just because I'm probably just gonna honestly spam Psychic if I have to use Alakazam, but the Alakazam is also level 20 instead of level 15. Which is the other reason why I would want to have him out.
Fire Blast! No! This Pokemon looks wrong! Taken down on the word go! This is a wild one from the word go! Oh, it's Scyther!
Oh, the Scyther with the double edge. I better...
How will the type difference affect
This time I get to Fire Blast you again. Oh, but you're gonna start off with Sword Stand.
Increase his attack power. Whoa! Whoa! Looks like a bad
I want to beat up the bug guy again. No comment. I am not looking forward to beating up this bug guy again. We probably would have been done with the second fight by now.
Oh, it's perfect.
Oh, we're about to have a roast duck here, I feel like.
The count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided. Savage attack.
Oh, it missed.
That's a miss.
Reflect.
It's more resistant to physical.
I guess I should have expected Fire Blast to miss at some point.
Exceeding an inch. There's the attack.
It's not going down because it got burnt. What is it with everything knowing double edge?
What's this? Yeah, it's a hit.
And he got hurt by the burn.
What a furious battle. Body slam. A decent hit.
Oh, it was not enough to take him down. I really thought Body Slam would have taken him down.
There, it's a hit.
Oh, the burn's gonna take him down if anything.
Wow! Goes down.
That far-fetched
And there goes
behaved like a
the
Power Ranger
battle.
there, like the over-exaggerated backwards jump. Onward and upward. When you beat me in Street Fighter 4? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What was the team for this? Army's a pretty good safe lead, I feel like. Or Pika and whatever.
Can we expect to see? Begin round 2. They go into battle poses. Vigorous attack.
Oh, it was not enough to take it down. What? Mega kick.
What will the trainer do now?
Ooh, that hurt way more than I feel like it should have. Yo, these Pokemon are IV and EV trained, and they are struggling a bit. No, their levels are predetermined.
What will the next Pokemon be? Oh, it's Tangela! It has to make up for lost ground. The Pokemon are entirely different types.
Should I chance a Blizzard? Should I swap? No, I actually saw Ice Beam has like a 100% chance to hit, but Blizzard only has, like, Blizzard's just 90%.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
It depends. The rules make it so, like, the total level of your Pokemon
What's the matter,
have to,
trainer?
like, can't pass a certain point. So if you use one level 20, then the rest of your team has to be level 15.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Or something to that effect. So you can, like, have a couple 18s scattered about, or like a couple 17s or 16s, but you can't have, like, all level 20s because it won't let you.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer?
I'm trying to think if I want to use Blizzard or not.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
I'm going to swap to Alakazam.
What's the matter,
Yeah,
trainer?
it's not 100%, but it's 90. I think it's only 10 less than Ice Beam, but you get like 120 extra.
Oh, it's
Not 120 extra, you get like 30 extra potential damage, base damage.
What's this?
Yeah, apparently.
No!
See something?
How will the swap Pokemon fight? What now? Power strike! Down! That didn't take much!
This is the...
There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon. Oh, it's Pinsir!
Fighting a
The
lad right
remaining
now.
Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided.
Me round 2, Cerebi.
staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Alright, here we go. Use.
What's the matter, trainer?
Not using any of these. Am I in the wrong? Am I looking at the wrong cup? I am looking at the wrong cup.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's next? And the weak spot.
Back.
Gone!
This is the
It's
Pika
a
Cup.
one-hit wonder. And
Pika
there
trainers.
goes the battle.
Round 2. So the next trainer should be a swimmer, and I'm only looking at this just to see. But you should have a Firo level 20, a Slowbro and Seadra at 17, a Wigglytuff and Klinkler at 15, and a Dugong at 16. So let's see if that is accurate to what we see here. Yeah, that's pretty much what he had. Level 20 Firo, level 17 and 17. Slowbro and Seadra 17. Yep. Wigglytuff and Kingler at 15 and a Dugong at 16. Yeah, it doesn't change. Or you know. Alright, so I feel like Starmie and Pikachu are definitely going to be running the gauntlet here. Just because they have Thunderbolts, and Thunderbolt can deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Maybe I should lead with Pikachu for the stab. Yeah, that's exactly the same team I was thinking of.
The upcoming
Oh, what just happened? Oh, another capture card wants to act funny. It does it a third time. Yep, I'm gonna go check to see what's going on with the capture card. All of a sudden decided to start doing this. Alright, let's see if that fixed it. Gotta love the capture card acting up. Oh boy. I haven't had one of these issues in a while. Alright, I got signal back on the monitor. Now I gotta deal with the capture card. Oh, he decided to lead with Slowbro. Had to happen for beating the weenie Pokemon.
Here's the first move. Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice.
Oh, of course he knows Earthquake. Well, Pikachu's dead, I think.
No! This Pokemon looks wrong.
Yep, Pikachu's
Take
down.
it down on the word go!
Of course he knew Earthquake.
This is a wild one from the word go.
Why wouldn't he know Earthquake?
Oh, it starts! It has to make up for lost ground. It's 2 Pokemon against 3 now. This battle is still up in the air. What's this? Wow! That's a second hit! Oh! Is it down and out? What
He
Pokemon
very much
will be
is.
fighting next? Oh, it's Dugong! We're evenly matched at 2 Pokemon.
Can you even get a
aside.
Dugong at level 16?
Neither Pokemon is backing down. Combatants face each other. There it goes! Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice.
Okay, got it. So the game is cheating.
What now? Hit the
Oh,
beat.
and of course I get paralyzed. The very first body slam of the stream, I get paralyzed.
Building over this hot battle.
Gotta love it. Oh, and he's got Horn Drill too.
Whoa! Horn
And the first one-hit KO move of the night at 30% accuracy lands.
There's only
So I got
one Pokemon left in
paralyzed and
reserve. Now.
I got one-hit KO'd with 30% damage
Oh, it's
right out the
there.
gate. Got
It's
this game.
One Pokemon against 2 now. The tense battle continues. A psychic blast. Heavy damage. Oh, it's down.
That's true, but
Both combatants are down to their last Pokemon. Oh, it's Seadra. There's just one Pokemon aside.
oh,
now.
that was annoying. It was bad enough that I lost to Pikachu to a Slowbro that used Earthquake.
Savage attack. The savage hit. What'll it do?
If anyone ever tells me that this game doesn't cheat,
One still raring to go, but the opponent
I don't even know how I
appears
would react. What are the odds that the first body slam that the game uses paralyzes me and
beat.
a 30% chance attack also connects on the very next turn?
And there goes the battle.
This is looking like a Starmie kind of fight. Starmie and Squirtle kind of fight, rather. Or at least Starmie, Pikachu, and... yeah, Starmie, Pikachu, and Alakazam, I feel like. Biggest concern there is going to be the stupid Drowsy, which I'm sure will show face.
The crowd's excitement is building. This is round 4.
Of course. Why am I not surprised?
Vigorous attack. Severe hit.
Another surf might take him out. Hypnosis is gonna put me to sleep though.
Hypnosis.
Yup.
Oh, it's battle
The chances that he's gonna
rages on.
Dream Eater and I should just swap out now. I feel like he's gonna Dream Eater.
They're staring each other down. They strike fighting poses. Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. Oh, it's Pikachu!
Yep, called it.
Savage attack! Oops, that's a miss. How will the swamp Pokemon fight? Now.
Oh, he's swapping out.
The Pokemon change.
Onyx.
Oh, it's Ninetales. What's this? Boom! How will this swap affect the outcome?
I feel like I should swap out to Alakazam. Because I will bet that Ninetales knows Dig.
The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Alakazam! It's
Called it.
burrowed underground. Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle? What's next? Miss the target. What'll it do?
And it's a critical hit.
Sparks are flying in this heated match. What now? Harsh blow. What's this? There, it's a hit. Neither one is conceding an inch. A psychic blast. Good hit. Wow.
Slap him with my
Go
level 20
down.
spin. I wish I could recover.
What will the next Pokemon
I think there's a TM
be?
for recover, but I don't have it in game yet.
Oh, it's Nidoking! It has to make up for lost ground. How will the type difference affect that?
Nidoking is really small. I always thought Nidoking would be way taller than that.
This Pokemon looks wrong. Ah, it's a one-hit wonder. There's a
Either
difference
he's
in the
really
number
small
of
or
reserve
Alakazam is
Pokemon.
really big.
We're down to the last Pokemon. The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided.
What should I do here? Should I swap out to Pikachu? Come back to Starmie?
They're staring each other
I don't
down.
want to come out to Starmie because he's got Dream Eater.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. Here's a Pokemon change.
I'm definitely going to paralyze him. I feel like Thunder Wave would be the right move right now.
What's next? Yeah, it's a hit. Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
Oh,
Hit you, Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed. Vigorous attack. Severe hit. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. Right, Thunderbolt. A savage hit.
oh. I really thought he was paralyzed for a second. The camera twitched.
Boom.
Oh, that's another continue we're not getting.
It's down.
course, he lives by 3 HP. I should have just
We're
thunderbolted.
waiting for the next Pokemon. Here's a Pokemon chart. The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The combatants are making sparks
You're
fly.
way more optimistic than I am.
How's that? Yeah, it's a hit. Oh, is it down and out? And there goes the battle.
Like, every experience I have using a Drowsy is pretty terrible, but when the computer uses Drowsy for me, it's like a nightmare. Noted. Hiker. Hiker with no ground or rock types. Got it. And what an annoying spread. He has got 3 level 20s. Yeah, he can only have 1. That's why the rest of his team is 15s. I agree.
We're in the last.
Oh my god, are we gonna start doing this again now? Yep. I don't know what's going on with this tonight. This fixes it before I do everything else. I'm gonna have to look into that. It's because I changed something in my setup, and I may regret it. Surf that guy when you fix the team.
They're staring each other down. Now. Savage attack.
Of course he's got Thunder Wave.
Heavy damage. Hit you, Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed. Fireworks are flying in this battle.
Did I surf again?
They're staring each other down.
Of course my special stat falls.
What's this? Special stat is down. Right, that's sir. Hit the weak spot. Wow! Go down. We're waiting.
Let's come
for
out with
the next
Eradicate.
Pokemon. Oh, it's Eradicate.
Psychic, I assume.
This one looks formidable.
Oh, the sound is off.
The Pokemon are entirely different types. There's
Sounded okay on my setup. Hold on, let me double check.
issued an order.
May
The trainer has
see if deactivating and reactivating fix it. Yeah, he did.
What's the matter, trainer?
Alright, hopefully that fixed the sound issue.
The trainer hasn't
Should I
issued
just,
an order.
I don't know, should I just psychic? I think psychic is stronger than surf. Oh, he can go first because I'm paralyzed. That's right. He's got hyper beam, so that'll be a stab, and it's a critical hit because, you know, of course it is. And because it kills me, he doesn't need to recover on the next turn, so he can use hyper beam again. Fantastic. I'm liking the way you're cheating, game. Very nice. Very nice.
How will the type difference affect that?
What? Oh my god, I picked the wrong input.
Severe hit.
Oh, it has to recharge? It didn't do that before.
Sparks are flying in this heated match.
I mean, the psychic is gonna take it out.
What now? Harsh blow. And it's down. There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. Oh, it's Golden. The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The
He is
10th
part
battle continues.
psychic, I think.
They strike fighting poses.
So I guess I could just weaken him
There's the attack.
and then worst case swap to Pikachu.
That is down.
Wait, is Golduck not part psychic?
It's burrowed underground. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. A psychic
I've
blast.
never used a Psyduck or a Golduck, so I wouldn't know.
But air.
Oh, they're not.
What'll it do? There, it's a hit. One still raring to go, but the opponent appears beat.
By the way, I'm glad that he lived by 1 whole HP. Really digging this game, is granting itself the luxury of living by 1 or 3 and getting crits and first turn body slam paralysis and 30% chance to connect with an instant kill move. Love it. Alright, battle number 5. Oh, it's gonna be an electric guy with no electric Pokemon. Oh, two. That's not correct. He's got 2 whole electric Pokemon. Oh my god, don't start with this again. What's up with this stupid equipment? His name is Mr. Fix. Oh, that just corrected itself, I guess. You deactivate and reactivate the card just in case there's no audio desync. If I could catch a Rhydon, that would have been level 15. This would have been the perfect point for a Rhydon. Charmander's got Dig. Oh, that's a fighting move. What just happened? I just saw that the capture card cut out. I can still see my screen, but the capture card decided to give up on life. There we go, it's back up. I should teach Pikachu Dig. Could also probably evolve this Pikachu, to be fair. There goes the card again. Boba, Alakazam, and you don't know? What I think also might be the problem. All right. I just reset a bunch of my equipment. But now I have no sound. Looks like now it's the capture card acting up. I might just swap back to my old equipment. If the new equipment isn't gonna work, I'm probably just gonna return it to Amazon. It's way too expensive for it to be screwing up the way that it's screwing up, and my equipment beforehand was not having any issues. Why am I not getting audio now? We have video, but I'm not getting audio. There we go. That fixed it. I was using it all day today, and I had no issues. And the second I decided to stream, it decides to screw up. That's the way it works, right? When you decide to do stuff. Mercy for you. All right, so just scroll up so I can see what. So you had made some recommendations, but I lost track of it. Boba, Alakazam, and you don't know, I think is what it was. If I send out Bulbasaur, Got Mega Drain, Toxic, Leech Seed, and Body Slam. No. Sound is off again? When you say it's off, do you mean like it's not synced? Yeah, I can hear it. You're right. That should have fixed it, I think. Why Bulbasaur, by the way? Just so I can understand the logic, because... There's only 2 electric types though. And that Ice Beam from, or Blizzard that Lapras has will really get him destroyed. I'm gonna assume that the Porygon's also gonna know an electric attack. Alright, here we go.
The field is thinning out. We're into round 6.
Of course, he leads out with Charmeleon, and of course, then immediately the equipment starts acting up again. I'm about to swap back to my old equipment because this is gonna get old really fast. I'm probably returning this tomorrow. Nasty. This is way too expensive to be screwing up the way that it is. I think this switcher that I'm using, I wanted it because it had like a bunch of extra ports, and all it's doing, like, oh my god, I just reset it and it's still cutting out.
Down.
No, you can't make it up. I thought you sent out that of all things.
What's the matter?
I'm about to just plug in the old one. If this happens again, I'm just plugging in the old one. Like, screw this. I'm gonna send this crap back to Amazon.
What's the matter, trainer?
It's supposed to be a good one.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Should I swap out to Alakazam, I guess?
What's the matter, trainer?
Yeah, I just saw your message. Took me a second because he was like him and his mustache, and I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Dragon Rage.
Changing
Of course.
Pokemon. That Pokemon must not have been the right choice. Oh, it's Alakazam!
Dragon Rage is lethal at these early levels.
Vigorous attack. Harsh blow.
He lives by 5 HP. Of course he does.
Flying in this battle.
Why wouldn't he live?
Wave. That's a good hit. And it's down.
Oh yeah, that's right, because every time it does that stupidity, it desyncs everything.
Which Pokemon is coming out?
I should have fixed it.
Right, Thunderbolt. Yeah, it's a hit. Oh, is it down and out? We're waiting for the next Pokemon. Oh, it's Raichu. We're evenly matched at 2 Pokemon aside. Neither Pokemon is backing down.
Recommendation.
They're staring each other down.
Thunderwave body
They
slam and
strike
crit.
fighting poses. There's the attack. Major damage. It used Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed. Neither one is conceding an inch.
Hey, welcome, Wancho.
What's this? Drill that weak spot.
You want to get paralyzed? Nope, of course not.
What now?
Oh, he's got surf. Hey, thanks for the follow, Wancho.
There, it's a hit. Oh, it's down.
Picked the perfect night to join us. With all my equipment failing
There's
and
only one Pokemon left in
the game
first.
cheating beyond all recognition. Be a good night.
We're down to the last Pokemon. It's 1 Pokemon against 2 now. The 10th battle continues.
Mega Drain, I assume. That should work fine against electric, right? I think it's not going to be it's not going to be not very
They're
effective, I
staring
mean.
each other down. What's next? Good hit.
That did diddly. Oh, and he's got Thunder Wave. I mean, not
What'll it do?
surprising, but
Oops, it's paralyzed. The intense battle continues.
oh, he's swapping out. Oh no, he's paralyzed.
Paralyzed on the spot.
And so am I. So it's a
Paralyzed
wasted
on the
turn.
spot. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle.
Paralyzed? Paralyzed.
It can't move again. What's this? That's a
Are
good
you
hit.
kidding? Every time, I'm telling you, I'm gonna make like a chart of all the nonsense that's gonna happen tonight. They live by like whatever tiny sliver it is that they're gonna live. He's just gonna end himself now.
Vigorous attack. A savage hit. Hey, what's it doing? Down and go. Both combatants are down to their last.
It really
Pokemon.
is rigged. You are not wrong.
Oh, it's not. There's just 1 Pokemon aside now. The battle is coming right down to the wire.
Oh, of course, he knows Fire Blast.
Fire
Why
Blast.
wouldn't he?
It's doubly effective. Wow! Going down. And there goes the battle.
And there goes the cheating. Thank you, Mr. Fix, with your wonderful team of electric types. Oh, wait. Alakazam, Pika, and then whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Well, his trainer type is supposed to be electric Pokemon. Can't wait to get paralyzed because he's gonna Thunder Wave. I can feel it in my bones. Gonna live by. Oh, he didn't live. Okay, we're good. Psychic until you drop. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the strategy.
There's been major action already. Oh, it's Florida. How will the type difference affect that?
Don't even think of swapping.
What's this? Harsh blow.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance to self-destruct. But I think he would have just Thunder Wave. Oh, there we go. There's the Thunder Wave. I was waiting for it.
Oops, it's paralyzed.
I'm gonna assume every single last one of his Pokemon no Thunder Wave.
What's next? Special stat is down.
Why is it? How many times have we used Psychic and we haven't had like a special drop? And then the first time he uses any specific move, it's always like, if it has a bonus effect, it does it. I'm scared. Like, he's gonna use Blizzard, the first Blizzard we're gonna see in all like of our time playing Stadium, and he's just gonna freeze me. Watch.
Oh, it's Muck.
Oh, it's a Muck. Assuming I don't get paralyzed or any other nonsense.
The battle has become one-sided.
I'm already paralyzed.
What'll it do?
Oh, but it's a critical hit. Why wouldn't it be a critical hit? Come on, Psychic. Come on, do your thing, do your thing. Make it a crit, make it a crit, make it a crit.
Perfect day.
Of course it wasn't a crit. Oh well, we got him anyway.
The level disadvantage is obvious.
Alright, we got the continue we lost, we got it back. Okay, new plan. Alakazam first until the end. Oh, I don't like her smile.
This is it, the semi-final.
Here we go again. The Jinx, by the way. Once this decides to start cutting out, oh man. New technology is getting good. Sigh until you drop new mantra.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Oh, they're swapping out.
Oh, an abrupt Pokemon change. Oh, it's Gyarados. Here's the first move. Special stat is down. What a furious battle.
What's he gonna have?
What now? Major death!
Well, it doesn't matter what he's gonna have because he went down.
Which Pokemon is coming out? Here's a Pokemon change. Pokemon count is 3-2. This battle is still up in the air. A powerful hit! The type disadvantage has no effect. It's more resistant to physical blows. The
Bad psychic is
building over this hot battle.
not physical.
What'll it do? A powerful blow. What's this? Special stat is down. One
First
still
psychic.
raring to go, but the opponent
Instantly
appears
drops.
beat.
I finally got my psychic to do
A
that.
psychic blast. Yeah, it's a hit. Wow! Goes down. There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's Clefable.
Clefable.
The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become
Gonna be pretty
one-sided.
tanky.
Savage attack. Special stat is down.
Oh, we can get another psychic. Oh, of course it's got Thunder Wave.
Hit you, Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed.
I think the next psychic will take it out just because it had a special drop.
Exceeding an inch. What's next? There, it's a hit. How's that? Severe hit. And it's down. And there goes the battle.
Alakazam and whatever for next team. But they also have an Alakazam. They have an Alakazam and a Starmie.
This is it, the final battle. Who will bask in the glory of the championship?
Oh, of course they're gonna use the Alakazam.
What'll it lead with? Drill that weak spot.
Of course it's got Thunder Wave. Everything has Thunder Wave.
Oops, it's paralyzed. Fireworks are flying in this battle. What'll it do? A decent hit. A psychic blast. Boom! And it's down.
Moustache.
What Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's Gravity. How will the type difference affect that?
Oh my god, Dragon Rage.
Vigorous attack.
That's gonna eliminate. I did not pick
What's
Alakazam.
next? A savage hit. It's a head-on collision. Power versus power. Dragon Rage. That's a good hit. Wow!
Starmie will be up next, and I guess I'll use Blizzard.
Oh, it started! The Pokemon are entirely different types.
Wait. I'd already
No
made the
hit.
input.
Lizard. It's doubly effective. Oh! Is it down and out? There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. Oh, it's Kangaskhan. The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The 10th battle continues. They go into battle poses. What now? Harsh blow.
One-way ticket to anger.
What's this?
I believe it.
There, it's a hit. Fireworks are flying.
I think
this battle.
I think this is guaranteed at this point, so we completed this cup in round 2.
Oh! Oh! It's down! Congratulations! The champion has been decided!
Years of experience and multiple N64 controllers have taught me this. We never once used Squirtle. Pika Cup round 2. Starters were there to look pretty. Alright, guess we can do the 25 to 30 one next. Still only no psychic, and these can't be evolved. I'm gonna have to resort to a rental? Pretty much. Yeah, you're right, Dark. You need like 3 Alakazams and an Abra for each cup. Which I do have. No, who's never disappointed us? Rhyhorn. We pick Rhyhorn here? Or is he not listed? Be a Geodude. Wow, Rhyhorn is not... Why is Rhyhorn not listed here? The man amongst men, agreed, but there's no Rhyhorn that I can pick from the rentals right now. And I have nothing else that I can use. Let me scout out my blue version. Got anything useful here? Nope. Yellow it is. Yeah, Rhyhorn's a baby Pokemon. It's not evolved. Should we round off this team? So we're gonna have to use a rental here. Oh, that's right. There's size restrictions on here. Max height of 6'8" and weight 44 pounds, of course. And Mew can attend. I'm curious, hold on. Let's back to round 1. But I think I went and registered every team, so use before. I did not register a team. I thought I did. Weightest and heightest. And the rest is gonna have to be a rental. I will tell you right now. 28. I'm gonna write this down because I'm gonna forget. 62, 28, 67, 74 is mine. And the rental version is 59, 26, 23, 61, and yeah. I mean, it has more moves than mine has. But if we're only concerned with Psychic... I mean, this Diglett has Dig and Rock Slide, I guess. It's kind of going and seeing what we got here. Oh, I figured. Only bad thing is that Rock Slide won't be a stab with Diglett. I don't know. I don't know, should we roll out with Diglett? Always a bug boy. Like, only one bug Pokemon.
Let's get underway with Pokemon Tournament Petit Cup, the tournament for unevolved Pokemon. Let's see how much fight the cutest Pokemon can put up. What'll it be? That was weak.
Oh, that's right, Spark Psychic.
It's more resistant to physical blows. Neither one is conceding an inch. Oh, there's going to be a
I didn't think my mind was still working on the logic of just Alakazam and Psychic everything from the last cup.
Oh, toxic! The poison will slowly set the strength. How will the swapped Pokemon fight? Fire Blast! Oops,
Of course
that's
I
not
missed.
it. What's this? Heavy damage! What a furious battle! How's that? Oh, the attack
Alright, I'm
missed.
restarting this whole match.
A psychic blast! Heart blow! Wow! Going down!
If the game had used Fire Blast against me, I wouldn't have missed.
What Pokemon will be fighting next? They strike fighting poses. Oh, it's Pikachu!
But I also think this is the only fire
How will
TM
the
that
type
exists.
difference affect? Let's get underway with Pokemon.
I think
Tournament
for the
Petit
most part I
Cup,
saw
the
Fire
tournament
Blast.
for unevolved Pokemon. Let's see how much fight the cutest Pokemon can put up.
How much fight the cutest Pokemon can put up.
Fire Blast! Mighty blow with the word go! That was quick! Down already! There's been major action already! Oh, it's Odyssey! The Pokemon are entirely different types. Savage attack! Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon
It did not
choice.
die because it got burnt.
A stump for Cloud! Oops, it's paralyzed! What a furious battle!
I just messed up.
What now? It didn't do much damage. How's that? That's the weak spot. Oh! Is it down and out? There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's Caterpie! The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided. What's next? Yeah, it's a hit! There it goes! Super effective!
Togepi wasn't a thing yet, but I'm noticing that the background, the walls are painted like the Togepi egg shell thing. And it's considered a baby Pokemon. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. No, yeah, that's why I said, oops, I messed up. At least 3 Pokemon weak to fire there. I'm guessing Charmander, Pikachu, I guess Abra to deal with the rest. Abra can kind of mess up the Bulbasaur, the Eevee, and the Diddy. And the Zubatty. I think it was. I don't tend to associate the game and the anime together though too much. Of course.
Savage attack! A savage hit!
It was burnt, meaning it lived.
Wow! It transformed! The intense battle continues!
We're gonna dig each other.
What's this?
Of course, I get first turn body slam, instant paralysis, and I'm
Burrowed underground. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. It's burrowed
I like how
underground.
he went first, and I had to go second, and now that my dig is gonna connect.
Missed the target. What a furious battle.
So why does the
How's that?
why is there no consistency with that?
And it's down.
Why is there no consistency with that?
We're waiting for the next
We're supposed to have
Pokemon.
identical stats, and okay, he goes first. Okay, fine, he goes first. So why did I get to go first on the second turn?
Oh, it's Abra. It has to make up for lost ground. How will the type difference?
I mean, I know the answers because the game cheats, but
A psychic blast. Goodness. Oh, is it down and out? Which Pokemon is coming out? Oh, it's Parrot. The Pokemon are entirely
we're supposed to
different
have the same speed.
now.
If he transforms in, as I understand how transform works, it copies the Pokemon down to the stats and everything.
There's the attack. Major damage. It's a head-on collision. Power versus power. Savage attack. There, it's a hit. Oh, it's down.
I agree.
There's only one Pokemon left.
I agree
to
that it's
reverse.
absolutely poppycock.
Oh, it's Bulbasaur. The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The 10th battle continues. dangerous attack. Whoa, that's tough. Gone! It's a one-hit wonder. And
In the
there
daycare.
goes the battle.
Joke's on you. This is Gen 1. That mechanic doesn't exist yet. Can we really say it's an easy win if they got to do that? Oh, look, a sailor that's not going to have any water types. Oh, I stand corrected. I just assumed that they're never going to have the type that they're supposed to be assigned. There's at least 2 Pokemon that are weak to psychic attacks, so Abra's definitely gonna be on the team. So I'm guessing this is gonna be a Bulbasaur, Abra, and Pikachu kind of team. Oh my god.
The upcoming battles look promising. We're into round 3. Right, Thunderbolt. Mighty blow to the word go.
Oh, it was a crit too?
Taken down on the word go. This is a wild one from the word go. Oh, it's a Nidoran male. How will the type difference affect that?
Did I swap to Abra?
They go into battle poses. Here's a Pokemon change. Oh, it's Abra.
Toxic. I knew it was gonna have toxic.
Oh, toxic! The poison will slowly sap the strength. How will this swap affect the outcome? A psychic blast! Smack the weak spot.
Now teleport.
Down! That didn't take much. There's a
Doesn't that
difference in
actually
the
do
number
something
of
later on in
reserve
games? Like, doesn't
Pokemon.
that like let you switch out to another Pokemon, like at random or something?
Oh, it's Krabby! The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided. Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. It increased its attack power. How will the swapped Pokemon fight? Savage attack. It's doubly effective. Wow! Take it down!
Oh, we got the
with one
continue.
hit. And there goes the battle!
I know Geodude's not weak to Psychic, but I feel like he would get taken down pretty easily with a Psychic. Inko and the Astglee. I feel like guarantee that with the Geodude kind of make it so. Abra's definitely coming out. There's one electric type, so I don't know if Pika can dig. Feeling that.
The crowd's excitement is building. This is round 4.
Of course. I've got nothing to deal with them either. Should I just try to psychic it to death, or what do you think?
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order.
If his psychic doesn't take me out.
Pokemon. That Pokemon must not have been the right choice. Oh, it's Pikachu!
Oh, he's got Egg Bomb. Never
Here's the
mind.
first move. Major damage.
Still did a lot, and it's gonna be enough to kill me.
Furious battle. They go into battle poses. Hit you, Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed.
Egg Bomb is gonna kill Pikachu.
Bombardment. Harsh blow.
Oh, I lived.
Fireworks are flying in this battle.
Oh, you said that too late.
What's this? It's not very effective. It's paralyzed
Well,
on
you
the spot.
got lucky he got
One's
paralyzed.
still raring to go, but the opponent appears beat. They're staring each other down.
Oh, did you want me to wait? I mean, he ended up being paralyzed, so basically, like he just took damage and nothing happened.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Should we swap to dig?
What's the matter, trainer?
I know he has dig and rock slide. Can't remember what the other two moves are.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order.
I used Thunderbolt and it was not very effective.
What's the matter, trainer?
And at my disposal, I have Body Slam and Submission as the other moves.
What's the matter, trainer? What now? Powerful strike!
It did more than Thunderbolt. Oh, he's gonna use Explosion?
Massive explosion! Boom!
Why?
Wow! They're down! They're both down! Which Pokemon is coming out?
What do you think, Abra or Diglett?
Here's a Pokemon chain. Oh, it's Voltor!
Oh my
The
god.
Pokemon are entirely different types.
We swap to the Diglett?
It's a revolving door of Pokemon.
This Pokemon can also know explosion or self-destruct. I just realized. Oh my god. I think his strategy is just gonna be to blow up everything.
Heavy damage. Wow! Goes down. Wow! They're down. They're both down. What a wild turn of events.
Kinda glad we didn't lose the Abra there, I guess.
We're down to the last Pokemon. Oh, it's Shelter. There's just one Pokemon.
Yeah, if he tries to do it
aside
now, he'll automatically
the
lose.
battle is coming right down to the wire. A savage hit. Savage attack. That's a good hit. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. A psychic blast. Good hit. And it's down. And there goes the battle.
Stop, because I was thinking the same thing. If he had frozen me, I would have cut the stream. Junior trainer female. Here we go again. I only did it once. I'm gonna reset the card here real quick. Alright, we've got 4 Pokemon that are weak to grass. I mean, definitely weak to electricity, not weak to grass. 3 of them are weak to grass. We don't need a third, if only.
We're in the last half of the tournament. Things will get white hot. Begin round 5. Right, Thunderbolt. Whoa, looks like a bad Pokemon choice. It's burrowed underground.
I can't Thunderbolt anymore.
Fireworks are flying in this battle.
By the way, I'm gonna check that off in my little bingo card again. Like, super effective move, Pokemon lives by like a sliver. Swap to Bulbasaur? But he's poison type, won't that hurt him?
Each other down.
Or would it get cancelled out because he's also part grass?
There will be a change of Pokemon. Oh, it's Bulbasaur! What now? Yeah, it's a hit! How will the swapped Pokemon fight? What'll it do? There, it's a hit!
Oh my god.
Wow, mega drink! Super effective! Oh, it's down! What will the next Pokemon be? Oh, it's a Nidoran female! It has to make up for lost ground. The remaining Pokemon
Swap to Abra.
is 3-2. This battle is still up in the air. The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Abra! Savage attack! That's a good hit! Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle? Whoa! Perfect aim! Wow! Taken down with
Teleport.
one hit!
Don't play with me. I'll do it.
There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon. Oh, it's Goldie! The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1.
Swap.
The battle has become one-sided.
If we had like 4 continues, I would do it. I'm gonna call my own bluff.
They're staring each other down.
Should I swap or should I just keep on psyching?
The trainer
Psychic King.
hasn't issued an order.
Using psychic. Probably the right grammar.
What's the matter, trainer? What's this? And the weak spot.
Oh.
Down! That didn't take much! And there goes the battle!
Nothing personnel, kid. Oh, junior trainer male now. Fairyster, Magster, Abraster, Cuban Tea, Growlster, and Charmant. Charmanty. Got like 3 Pokemon that are weak to water. Portal, Diglett, and Abra. There we go.
The field is thinning out. We're into round 6. They strike fighting poses. Here's the first move.
Too many seismic tosses.
Right, that's sir. No, this Pokemon looks wrong.
It lived a
Fireworks are flying
surf?
in this battle. What's that? A savage hit! Savage attack!
I don't care if his little tail goes out, he's supposed to die.
Oh!
Tell me that little tail didn't go out being dunked underwater by a
We're
tsunami.
waiting for the next Pokemon. Oh, it's Clefairy! It has to make up for lost ground. How will the type difference affect that?
Should I swap? Should I just let him take the damage? Or rather, should I just, you know, poke it and die and switch, or what?
They're staring each other down.
I'd like to go for the continue.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
The Clefairy, so it's gonna know Thunder Wave. Guarantee you, the first thing it's gonna do is Thunder Wave.
What's the matter, trainer?
I may not do it this turn, but it's definitely gonna Thunder Wave. I feel it in my bones.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Every time I see a Clefable, every time, Thunder Wave. So I'm gonna assume the same thing for Clefairy.
What's the matter, trainer?
You don't think what's worth the risk? Swapping?
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer?
Do you think I should just attack then?
The trainer hasn't issued an order. What now? There, it's a hit.
Oh, even worse than no Psychic.
That's a good hit. And it's down.
Up
What
to Abra.
Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's Abra! The Pokemon are entirely different types. What'll it do? Special stat is down.
Of course. Put a little chip on top of the bingo.
What's this?
Living by a sliver.
What a furious battle! There it goes! Yeah, it's a hit! Wow! Goes down! There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. Oh, it's Rolla! The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The 10th battle continues.
So should I just Psychic die and then swap out to Diglett worst case, since we already lost Squirtle?
They're staring each other down.
Yep, that's what I figured.
What's next? Special stat is down.
Means it did not die.
Dragon Ray. The bear hit. Oh! Is it down and out?
Dragon Rage is really busted at early levels.
Oh, it's Diglett. There's just one Pokemon aside now. The battle is coming right down to the wire. It's burrowed underground. Savage attack. Oops, that's a miss. Fireworks are flying in this battle. Dig this. Devastating. Oh, it's down. And there goes the battle.
All right, semifinals. Abra Squirt, and you don't know? Pikachu no submission, that's a level 80 fighting technique. I mean level 80 base attack.
This is it, the semi-finals! No one wants to lose having come this far.
He went with Eevee. Psychic till I drop. Psychic till I drop.
The commands are issued. Here's the first move. Major damage!
Oh, that's not gonna be good. And attack? No, he double edged.
Double edge!
And it's a critical hit.
And the weak spot.
And it killed me.
That was quick! Down already! There's been major action already.
You know. That's fair, I guess.
Oh, it's Pikachu! How will the type difference affect that? Submission going down. It's doubly effective.
Living by a sliver.
Ah! Heavy damage.
I'm gonna lose completely. I'm gonna lose out completely to double edge. To an Eevee that's just gonna use double edge over and
There's
over and
a
over again.
difference in the number of reserve Pokemon. Oh, it's Squirtle! There's only one Pokemon against 3. The battle has become one-sided. Savage attack! A savage hit! Hey, what's it doing? Down it goes! We're waiting for the next Pokemon. Oh, it's
We're
Meowth!
dead. We lost.
It's one Pokemon against 2 now. The combatants are
This
making
is a loss.
sparks fly.
Oh, of course he knows Thunderbolt.
Fly! Thunderbolt! Smack the weak spot. Wow! Going down!
Wow, that was
There goes
the fastest match the computer's ever done on me. Well, there goes one of our 3 continues. It's not that it's bad luck, it's that the game cheats. Luck would imply that there would be fairness. And it just, you know, it just didn't happen. This is the game knowing exactly what it's doing and laughing about it. Pika Abra Bulba then.
This is it, the semi-finals! No one wants to lose having come this far.
Submission or Thunder Wave? Either way, I think I'm screwed.
It Thunder Wave. Oops, it's paralyzed. Whoa! Major damage. Neither one is conceding an inch.
Oh.
There, quick attack.
Oh, it's not like it mattered because that was gonna kill me anyway, apparently.
Wow! Going down! We're waiting for the next Pokemon.
What should come out next? I really don't think it's gonna matter. I think we made it this far for nothing.
How will the type difference affect that? They go into battle poses. Leech Seed. Yeah, it's a hit. There it goes.
And it's a critical hit, so I'm dead.
Wow, take it down with one hit.
And now Abra can't live that, so Abra's gonna go down in one hit too.
Pokemon. Oh,
I'm telling you, this game cheats. There is nothing fair about this.
there's only one Pokemon against 3. The battle has become one-sided. What's next? A savage hit!
Nope, didn't get paralyzed.
Double edge! Heavy
Dead.
damage!
They win.
Down! That didn't take much! And there goes the battle!
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it would help if I had a level 30. I think that the computer's just gonna cheat no matter what we do at this stage. Until it decides not to pick Eevee, there's no way we can win. That's my honest opinion.
This is it, the semi-finals! No one wants to lose having come this far.
There's the Eevee again. We lost. Should I Thunder Wave again, or should I just try to kill it as quickly as possible? What do you mean, same play? You want me to Thunder Wave it again? Alright, I'll try Thunderbolting.
They go into battle poses. Here's the first move. A decent hit.
Wow, Thunderbolt did nothing.
Whoa!
I got lucky with the paralyzed, but I feel like Submission did more.
Exceeding an inch. The commands are issued. It's paralyzed on the spot. Submission going down. Super effective. What a furious battle. There, quick attack. Yeah, it's a hit. Wow, going down.
It wasn't gonna matter what I did because he's gonna quick attack at that point.
Is coming out.
Abra, Psychic. Yep.
Oh, it's It has to make up for lost ground. The Pokemon are entirely different types. Vigorous attack. Heavy damage.
What the hell? Look how much damage Quick Attack did. I've never seen Quick Attack do that much damage.
That defeat means a Pokemon swap. Oh, it's Vulpix.
Oh, great.
This is a fight between two
It's gonna know
different
Thunder
types
Wave.
of Pokemon.
What do we have left? Bulbasaur, so yeah, definitely can't swap out.
What now? Harsh blow. It's burrowed underground. The crowd's excitement.
Oh,
is
we lost
building over
Abra
this
here.
hot battle. They strike fighting poses. Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. Oh, it's Bulbasaur! What's next? There, it's a hit. Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
Body Slam, I guess. I don't think he's gonna live. I think Vulpix is faster, and it knows Fire Blast. I'm not living.
Fire Blast! No!
I remember when I used Fire Blast, I had two of them miss in a row.
Oh! It's down! There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. There's nothing left in reserve. It's one Pokemon against two now. The tense battle continues.
Of course it knows Quick
What's
Attack.
this? Yeah, it's a hit. How's that? Power strike. And it's down.
Depending on what's next, is gonna determine if we win or
We're
lose.
down to one Pokemon aside.
We lost.
Oh, it's Pikachu. There's just one Pokemon aside now.
We lost. Quick Attack,
The
calling
battle
it.
is coming right down to the
Oh, it didn't
wire.
use it. Special stat went down, that means it survived. By a sliver again. We lost. I don't think I'm gonna survive this. Of course it's a crit. Maybe I would have lived, but now we'll never know because it was gonna be a crit anyway.
And there goes the battle.
How many crits did I get in that battle? How many crits did they get? Last continue. Same team. Pikachu, Abra, and Bulbasaur.
This is it, the semi-finals. No one wants to lose having come this far.
This time we use Kabutops. Or Kabuto, rather. Mega Drain, I guess.
Ah.
Oh, it's got Ice Beam.
Ice
GG.
Beam. Oh,
And I'm frozen! GG!
it's frozen rock solid. Neither one is conceding an inch.
I really just want to quit the match. Like, I'm about to throw this controller.
They're each other down.
Oh, he's got double edge too. We lost.
It's a hit. And it's down. What will the next Pokemon be? Oh, it's Pikachu! The Pokemon are entirely different types. Savage attack. It's doubly effective. What'll it do? Hit the weak spot.
Of course, it's a critical hit. Of course, it's a critical hit. Of course, it is.
There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining
Tell
Pokemon.
me this game doesn't cheat.
Oh, it's Abra. There's only one Pokemon against 3. The battle has become one-sided. A Psychic Blast. What will we...
Oh, thanks for the crit now.
Is it
When
down
it's
and out?
worthless.
We're waiting for the next Pokemon. Oh, it's Meowth! It's one Pokemon against 2 now. The combatants are making sparks fly. What now? Major damage! Vigorous attack. Severe hit. Both Pokemon have taken heavy damage. There it goes. There, it's a hit. Oh, it's down. Both combatants are down to their last Pokemon. Oh, it's Pikachu! There's just one Pokemon aside now. The battle is coming right down to the wire. The special attack is down. Right, Thunderbolt! Good hit!
Oh my god, we might actually win.
Sparks are flying in this heated match.
Wait, no. Quick attack.
There, quick attack. That's a good hit. Wow! Going down. And there goes the battle.
Unbelievable. I appreciate you staying up. I can't believe this game cheats as bad as it does. Holy crap. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. It's gonna take me a bit, but I know exactly I know what team I'm gonna make. Unbelievable. I'm gonna make a little bingo board for the next stream, I feel like, of all the stupid nonsense that the game does. And every time it does it, I'm gonna see if I can fill up a bingo board. Let me see if I have the ability to do it, though. I know I have to have one somewhere. Oh, of course not. Those attacks would never miss. Wait. This Staryu is gonna get leveled up. And that's gonna replace Squirtle. Actually, I don't know if Staryu would be too big or too heavy. Let me see if he's listed in the rentals. I'm gonna have to base it off of that. Take it easy. Nope, Staryu's too big, apparently, to be used here. Got a Vulpix. I'm probably use a Voltorb, I have to see. See if I can teach these moves over to that Abra. I'm gonna brainstorm. I'm gonna come up with a team. I'm limited though, because a lot of these Pokemon that would be good are at annoying levels. I can probably replace the Charmander with a Vulpix. will do. You take it easy. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's enough Pokemon Stadium for tonight. I'm gonna immediately get to work on preparing a team that can take on this stupidity. So irritating that the game can get away with all of this cheating that it does. Even if I make a good team, it could just cheat its way to victory. It's gonna crit at the worst possible times for me. Low accuracy attacks will always hit. If there's a status effect that happens, it's gonna happen. First turn body sign paralysis, things of that nature. Unbelievable. But I'm gonna work on a team. I'm gonna spend the next week working on a team. I'm gonna replace some of those Pokemon with Pokemon that might have better stats. That's all I can do for now. I want to knock out those baby cups first before I work on the level 50 stuff, and then ultimately I'll leave the prime cup stuff for last, for once I'm done with actually playing through yellow. I'm gonna sift through my Pokemon boxes. I'm gonna figure out what teams I have, and we'll go from there. So I think I'm done for the night. Cutting the stream a little bit earlier. Usually I do a 3-hour stream, but that was super irritating, and it got under my skin. And there's not much else that we can do right now, because I don't want to advance the story in yellow and potentially level up my team and then not be able to use them. So all that's gonna have to wait till we can knock out the low stuff and the 50 stuff. So we got 2 new followers today. We got the Perfect Pepper, and we got Juancho_Pan. Thank you so much for following in this stream. And hopefully you'll stick around for the laughs and the raging and all the good stuff that's gonna happen on here. Because man, oh man, this game is gonna test my patience. This is definitely one of those games that's gonna test my patience. But anywho, I think I'm done for the night. So I'll probably stream again. I like to say that I'm gonna stream on Tuesdays, but that never pans out. But I'm still gonna say it anyway. Tuesday, I'll try to stream then. If not, then it'll be another Sunday night stream in about a week from now. If you want to know where you can follow me, time to plug my socials, right? Go ahead and give me a follow over at twitter.com/LeeMustang so you can see when it is that I'm going to be streaming. Go ahead and give me a follow over at instagram.com/Lee.Mustang if you want to see what I'm adding to my game collection over time. There's a couple things I've picked up recently that I need to add to that. There's also, give me a follow over at youtube.com/LeeMustang. Wait, don't I have that set up? Oh, hold on. There we go. It's in the chat now. Yeah. If you want to see the rest of this playthrough in a playlist and everything else that I've gone through and the sheer amount of agony and pain that I'm going through playing Pokemon Stadium, go ahead and give me a follow over at youtube.com/LeeMustang, where I have a bunch of other games that are going on as well. I mean, by that I mean other Let's Plays and long plays that I've done over the years, some review for some products. So go ahead and give me a follow there too if you'd like. And of course, if you're watching this over at youtube.com/LeeMustang, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel to help it grow. Click the little bell icon to be in the know. And I will see you guys in the next part, where hopefully I won't be infuriated by this game being the way that it is. So until then, guys, have a good weekend, have a good week, and take care.